All right, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, we are back. We are back for another night of football. Tonight we're getting into your Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit that thumbs up. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe. Click that bell, turn on your notifications so you don't miss a stream. We are almost to preseason, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost to preseason, and football is almost here. Almost here. So we're getting through our 32 and 31. We got a few more teams left to get through with you guys. I will be streaming the rest of the teams over the next week, so make sure you guys lock it in. The question of the night is going to be, will the Chiefs three-peat? Will the Chiefs get 3 Super Bowls in a row? If you do end up watching this later, make sure you drop it in the comments, and we'll obviously let you guys know what the poll says at the end of the show. But that's the question for the night. Shout out to the Wrench Gang and the family. Shout out to each and every one of you guys. Much love to you all. Immortal in the house. Serious Biz, what up? Jacob, what up, man? Tactical in the house. Let's go. Let's go. Jacob says NFL is almost here. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, my friend. Okay. With that said, we got to touch on Kansas City, right? Kansas City has definitely proven themselves. Patrick Mahomes is now legendary status, and I think he has cemented his legacy. He has cemented his legacy in the NFL. So now the question remains, will they three-peat, and can he continue on in his quest to not only show dominance in the league, but I think he's kind of chasing that, that Tom Brady-ish aura. And that's not to say that he's going to get it, but I think he's chasing it. I think, if there's anybody that you could look at that could be in the conversation, it would be Patrick Mahomes. But we're going to get into it tonight. So Sirius says I stated an emphatic no. An emphatic no. Jacob says I can't wait for the Steelers season. Yeah, man. Let's go. All right, let's get into these Chiefs. So we know that last year, obviously, the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes didn't really have the team that he may have wanted to have, right? He had to figure some things out. And I mean, the reality is this: the man got paid his money. He said, I'll go out here and do with what I can. And he did that. He did exactly what he could with this team, and he took him to a Super Bowl and got under the ring. The question is, can this happen again? Can this happen again this upcoming season? Let's go ahead and get into the roster here. So obviously, starting is Patrick Mahomes. Carson Wentz did come over as well. They ended up picking him up, which I think is good, because if something does happen to Patrick Mahomes, Carson Wentz is definitely someone that you can trust to be in that position from a backup. And then third is going to be Chris Oludukin, and then Ian Book. For your running back, Isaiah Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Denerick Prince, and Keontae Ingram. Wide receivers, Rashee Rice. Obviously, we know the situation with him. Justin Watson, Sky Moore, Montreal, Washington. But then, of course, they got Marquise Brown, right? They picked him up for speed, which is going to be huge for them coming into this year, because Patrick Mahomes didn't really have, someone that he could really trust for the speed on the field. So they pick up Marquise Brown. Kadarius Toney, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with him. He had some terrible moments. He kind of fixed things, and then you guys know the story. Then Justin Ross, and then Nico Remigio, and then Xavier Worthy, right? They picked him up in the first round. Bills let him go to get Keon Coleman. And there was all kinds of controversy in regards to Xavier Worthy and whether or not, he was going to be the individual that could go out there and actually catch and, be more than just speed. And we've seen that in the training camps. We've seen him actually be able to run those routes and be really good with this speed and have some decent hands. So we'll just have to see how that goes, because right now Xavier Worthy looks good. He looks good. After that's going to be McCole Hardman, Cornell Powell, and then Phillip Brooks. For your tight end, obviously Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, Jarrett Wiley, Irv Smith. And then getting into your offensive line, you've got Wanya Morris, Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and then Jawan Taylor. So, I mean, obviously, when you look at the pickups as far as with Marquise Brown, Xavier Worthy, I think those two are definitely going to be very, very significant and important weapons for Patrick Mahomes coming into the next season. He didn't have the speed, but he made do with it last year. And now that he has the speed, I think this definitely increases his skill set and what he's able to do. So defenses are definitely going to have their hands full as far as, whether or not Patrick Mahomes is going to step out of that pocket, or if he's going to, be able to get these guys on crossing routes or even down the field. They've got the speed to do it. And, Mahomes has the arm to get the ball down the field. So it's going to be very, very, very challenging for a lot of these defenses to figure out this offense. And that's going to be strong. It's going to be strong for Kansas City moving into next season. Now, obviously, we know that with Worthy, it is going to be a little bit learning curve coming into his rookie season. And then Marquise Brown, we know that, he's a little older. I would say that he's kind of, right around that end of prime-ish, but you do get a quality wide receiver in Marquise Brown and someone that has speed and has great hands, can run the routes, knows the game, and could be very significant with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. Rashee Rice, we know that obviously he went through his situation. He will be coming back. And then Pacheco, that man's amazing. He runs like a toddler, but the man can ball, and for sure. So then you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire back there as well, so that's going to be a nice 1-2 punch for the running scheme. I mean, there's not really much that I can say that I don't like because, to be honest, even with the young Xavier Worthy coming over and then obviously Marquise Brown getting picked up, you're going to have Patrick Mahomes, who's without a doubt going to work with these two. And then he's got the ever so reliable Travis Kelce. Where do you go wrong? Obviously, from the secondary, I'm not sure what's going on with Kadarius, but, I mean, still, you got Justin Watson, you got McCole Hardman, you got Noah Gray. So even on the secondary, you got some options there that Mahomes can definitely use as well when one of these guys get tired or if they get hurt. So, yeah, there's a lot going on here. But for the most part, I got to give their actual roster here, or their depth chart, rather, a B+. I'm going to give it a B+ for sure. Shout out to Jack. What up, man? What's going on with you? And then, of course, getting into, their offensive line, we've seen last year, Mahomes not really have too much trouble. There were some situations where, yes, he had to get out of the pocket or he was rushed and things like that. But for the most part, this team gels together. This team works, and they have an amazing coach in Andy Reid. And he's taken the pieces and put them together properly when it comes to this organization. So, yeah, like I said, I'm going to give the offense a B+. They're getting into the defense. You got George Karlaftis, Derek Nady, Chris Jones, Mike Dana, Drew Tranquil, Nick Bolton, Leo Chenal, Joshua Williams, Justin Reed, Brian Cook, Nazeeh Johnson, and Trent McDuffie. I mean, once again, you can't really complain about this defense. Obviously, we know they made some changes there. But once again, it's a situation of this is a quality defense that has been in multiple championships and won multiple Super Bowls. So these guys know what to do. They know how to perform in high pressure. They know how to maneuver through significant moments and make big plays when it matters the most. So once again, I got to give, the defense here a B+. Definitely. Special teams, Harrison Butker, who's had his own crazy stuff going on. Then the punt god, Matt Ariza. Now, I'm not going to go too hard on this because we know what happened, and I am going to say that the man was acquitted of all charges. So, obviously, him coming back to the league is good. He's able to get his life back on track. My problem is the Bills should have reached back out to him once the situation happened, when they had the opportunity to do it. They didn't do it, and this is another player that they shouldn't have let go to Kansas City. But, hey, that's neither here nor there. The punt god is now with Kansas City. And then, Obviously, you got Louis Rees Zamunt for your kick return, and then long snapper is going to be James Winchester. So yeah, I'm excited to actually see what happens with Matt Ariza, and it's going to be interesting for sure. We've kind of had an idea as far as what he was able to do, and if he's able to translate that into the scheme for Kansas City, that can be a powerful weapon to have for sure, and people could be complaining about it when everything goes down. So we'll have to see. Shout out to Happy Face. What up, yo? To say, fellas, this just in. Trump just signed a 4-year, $90 million contract to quarterback for the Commanders. All right. 90 mil, huh? All right. See him out there throwing the ball. That'd be kind of crazy. Yeah, so, the team as a whole, I have to give them a solid A, specifically because they've learned to not only have the correct chemistry to get over the important games, but Patrick Mahomes just makes this team work. And we have the comparisons of Tom Brady, and we have the conversations in regards to the greatest of all time and all that kind of stuff. I want to keep Tom Brady in Tom Brady's lane, and I want to keep Patrick Mahomes in Patrick Mahomes' lane. And they're both in their own lane. And then obviously there's everybody else. But Patrick Mahomes is now in his own lane, and where he could become what we would know as the modern GOAT. And that happens if they're able to win a Super Bowl this year. Because let's face it, 3 Super Bowls, back-to-back, three-peat. I mean, there's nothing better than that for a team and for an individual like Patrick Mahomes to achieve. So if it does happen, you're not really having the question of, is Patrick Mahomes the GOAT? You're saying that he is right now because of what he's done, and if he's able to do that. So let's get into this schedule, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Virginia. What up, yo? What's going on with you? All right, let's go and get into the schedule here, ladies and gentlemen. 2024 schedule for these Kansas City Chiefs. If you guys have not, make sure you do hit that like, hit that thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Click that bell, turn on your notifications. All right, Kansas City Chiefs schedule. Now, I expect this. I haven't even looked at it. You guys know I come into this raw sometimes, especially when we do it live. I just go right in and give you guys my input and my insight. I expect this schedule to be a little bit challenging in the beginning, kind of taper off in the middle, and then finish really strong to put these Chiefs up to the test. So let's get into it. Week 1, Baltimore. Now, we obviously know that the Ravens have made their changes. They picked up Derrick Henry. The offensive line has made some adjustments and things like that, so things are going to change as far as with the Ravens. But with that said, this is going to be a Week 1 game. We did see Kansas City struggle Week 1 last year, but guess what? You have a whole different team now. You've got some solid weapons in Brown and Worthy, so we'll see how they do. And obviously, this is going to be a tough one. I think this is going to be more of a battle of the defenses. But, I mean, if I have to put the number on it, I do think this could be a 2-touchdown win, depending on who has the momentum. You literally have, Kansas City going to Baltimore, Ravens at home. That could be trouble. But we know that Patrick Mahomes has performed on the road multiple times. And now he's got extra weapons to help him perform. So I do think that Kansas City has the advantage in this one. I'm going to give him a win by a touchdown. After that is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. And if you haven't seen Joe Burrow recently, go look at a picture of this man. He looks like Slim Shady. We call him Slim Burrow now. He's got the blonde, short hair, and I think he probably was been listening to that Eminem album a lot. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to be a stan. So, yeah, that's what he looks like right now. And I'm not sure what's going on with Joe Burrow in this team. I am hoping that he can come back and get over his injury and get this team and the chemistry back to the way that it needs to be. I seen an interview with Jamar Chase. He was talking about the top 100 players in the league. He was not happy to mention Patrick Mahomes as being number one. So I do definitely see that there's a lot of bad blood with this team, and that we've seen over the years as far as in these games. So obviously they got the Bengals week 2. And, this is another one that we're expecting Joe Burrow to come out and shine and prove himself and get this team back in order. But it's Patrick Mahomes against that defense, and what he's been able to do, it's been nothing short of amazing. And, this is another one where I would say, okay, you're expecting Burrow to come out and put up some amazing offense. If he has not been able to truly get over his injuries, then yeah, this could be a tough battle for the Bengals. Obviously, you get another win there for the Chiefs. Then obviously get into the Falcons. You've got the situation with the Falcons now. Kirk Cousins going over to Atlanta. I think that's going to be good for the team. He's got more of a younger squad there. Obviously, Michael Penix is right behind him. But I do think this is going to be, an interesting game. The big question for me is whether or not that defense is going to be able to step up against the Chiefs. I do think this would most likely be a solid win for these Chiefs, though, considering I'm just not sure that Kirk is going to have anything to give that Kansas City defense. I just don't. I don't. So, right there, I'm giving them 3-0 off the bat, right? 3-0 off the bat. Then you get into the Chargers. We know that Justin Herbert has lost key pieces on his team. And, he's had his own issues when it came to these Chiefs. So once again, is Justin Herbert going to be able to overcome these Chiefs and the defense and this defense of the Chargers, be able to find a way to stop Patrick Mahomes? I'm not sure about that. So, I'm leaning towards the Chiefs there for sure. Then obviously getting into the Saints. Derek Carr, what the hell is he doing? Can anybody find him? Can anybody get him on the phone? Because I'm not sure the kind of year that the Saints are going to have. I think Alvin Kamara is wasting his talent there. Michael Thomas was just a complete question mark over his career, which is another waste of talent and a waste of money. So I'm just not sure as far as what these Saints are going to do. So once again, this is another edge that I have to give to the Chiefs. Now they get into a bye week 6. They then get into the 49ers in week 7. This is obviously going to be a strong test. Brock and Mahomes going back and forth. Once again, this is going to be a battle of the defenses. Who's going to game plan better? And, we've seen this. We've seen this before. Who's going to come out with that victory? Because, both strong defenses, great offenses. Can Brock Purdy pull off another year where he's able to perform the same way that he did and stay consistent? That's going to be in question. But for the most part, I do think that this is one that'll probably go toe-to-toe. So I'm going to be split on this one, 50-50. Let me hop into the chat. Jacob says, Jay, can you tell me what day you're planning on doing the Steelers season prediction? That will be... we'll probably get to them on the 29th, Monday, my friend. On Monday. Shout out to Lutza. What up, yo? Lutza in the house. Randy says the Ravens game is in Kansas City. Am I? You're right. My bad, y'all. My bad. I've been working. I'm a little off. Okay. Yeah, so that makes it even worse for the Ravens. So that proves my point. Kansas City. Then after that, it's going to be the Raiders. We know the Raiders have been very interesting as well because they kind of have had, the Chiefs' number in a few games during the regular season. Now, the quarterback situation with the Ravens or with the Raiders is going to be something that we really have to look into coming into the season. I do think that, O'Connell and, this team probably should have went with him, but they didn't choose to go with him. And now things are kind of changing. You got Jones going over there. So I think there's going to be a chemistry and balance with this team. Hopefully they can figure it out by the time week 1 happens. But week 8, I'm still giving the edge to the Chiefs. Week 9, Tampa Bay. This is going to be a Monday night game. Baker Mayfield, he surprises me sometimes. He definitely surprises us sometimes. He shows up and, you'll have these games where you count him out, and then he'll show you that he has some talent. He'll show you that, he's got some tricks in the bag. But once again, Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield, they have great moments, but they have a lot more bad moments. And the Kansas City Chiefs are a refined team, and coming into this year, they're going to mean business. They want a three-peat. So once again, my edge is the Chiefs. Denver having the issues as far as three separate quarterbacks. Who's starting over there? Is it going to be Zach Wilson? Shout out to you, Luta. Is it going to be Bo Nix? Who's going to, do what over there? And I think that's the biggest problem as far as what's going on with Denver. You don't really know what to expect. And then obviously Judy's gone, so things are changing as far as their wide receiver front. There's a lot of issues with Denver right now. But we do know this is a divisional rival. So this is another one that could get very interesting, depending on, who's the personnel that Sean Payton puts together and how he can game plan. And I said it lightly. It is a divisional rival, but that may not matter this year because Denver and Sean Payton and the quarterbacks, I don't know who's going to lead that team, so we'll have to see. But once again, leaning towards the Chiefs. Next after that, Chiefs against the Bills. This is going to be a good one. Whenever the Chiefs play the Bills, it's always the hype. It's always the most significant game of that day. All eyes are on this game. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. They're going to be at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo, November 17th. This is an afternoon game. We stream these games. They're always crazy. They're always wild. We always have fun, always have a great time. The question is, who's going to get the better of who? Because we know, and we've seen that during the regular season, this Bills team has been able to really, really play a chess match between with them and the Kansas City Chiefs and come out with the win. But when it comes to the postseason, they can't get it right. They can't figure it out. And that's the number one problem. You'll have the significant win, and it's almost like a championship game in the regular season, and the Bills will win. But when it comes down to the postseason, they will lose to the Chiefs. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. We've seen this multiple times. It almost doesn't matter the team that the Chiefs have because they lose to the Bills in the regular season. We've seen it multiple times. And I'd say this is going to be just a little bit different because obviously we know that Diggs is gone, Davis is gone. Those were two significant players that contributed to those victories. So now you're, okay, is it going to be Kincaid? Is it going to be Coleman? Which individual is going to be the one to step up in these kind of games to get them over the hump? And then obviously on the other side, you've got Worthy and you've got Brown now. So Mahomes has his own weapons now that he's coming into Highmark Stadium with. So this could be a significant game for both sides. And once again, it's going to be one of those chess match games where we're all sitting at the edge of our seats. Like, what the hell's, going to happen until the very end? And to be honest, I got to go 50-50 on this one. I obviously want to go Bills because they're at home. They normally can get the better of the Chiefs during the regular season. But I do think that with the changes that Kansas City has made and the offensive power that they have right now, it does give them a little bit more of an edge. But I'm 50-50. Next after that, it's going to be the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young. We talked about Bryce Young and everything that he has going on and the issues that this team is going to have, I think, with him being the quarterback. I'm not sure that he's the man for the job. Some people are mad at me for saying that. Some people wanted to fight me for it. That's totally fine. I get it. At the end of the day, Bryce Young, him not having the height is an issue. Him not having the arm power is an issue. And I think that's, unfortunately, he's going to, not be the individual that's going to last there with the Panthers. So I think this is going to be a significant blowout in favor of the Chiefs. After that, they'll rematch with the Raiders, the rematch with the Chargers, and then they'll get into the Browns. I think this will be an interesting one because we know that the Browns are very, very good defensively. And the real question is whether or not we're going to see a Deshaun Watson for the whole season, and if he's going to be able to go out there and do what he needs to do and prove to everybody that he's worth the money that this Browns team has spent. So, yeah, that's going to be a 50-50 for me. Houston Texans, I like this one. Chiefs and Texans, Week 16. This is going to be December 21st, 1 p.m. game. Now, obviously, we're getting into the later weeks of the season. So, yeah, these are going to be some very significant games. And C.J. Stroud has shown up. It was last season. Now there's more tape on him. So, obviously, we know that defense is going to plan a little bit different, a little bit better. So how he's able to overcome this game, I think, will definitely be obviously important, and how probably the playoffs are going to, play out seeding-wise. But, yeah, I mean, once again, I have to give the competitive edge to the Chiefs just because of the talent. I do understand that there's been some decent pickups for Houston and, some defensive pickups as well. But, I mean, the experience that Patrick Mahomes brings to these significant games at the end of the season when he knows it's all on the line is when you really start to see that magic of him come out. So, once again, edge to the Chiefs. Steelers having the issue of who are they going to choose, Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. They have a solid offense. They have a decent defense. I could definitely see, them trying to put up a fight. Could come down to the wire. This could be one of those games where Russell Wilson's able to prove himself. It's a big shrug, but this will be a 1 p.m. game on Netflix on Christmas Day. I do think, by being a Christmas Day game, this is one of those where it's going to have you hyped up and on the edge of your seat. So I'll go 50-50 on that one. And then obviously they'll repeat with Denver for Week 18. As far as your preseason goes, you got the Jags Week 1, you got the Lions Week 2, and then you've got the Bears Week 3. So there you go. Like I said, when I look at this schedule, it starts off challenging. Towards the middle, it does get a little bit less challenging, obviously, with Atlanta, Chargers, Saints, but then you run into the 49ers, Raiders, then you get Tampa Bay, you get the Broncos, then you get the Bills, Panthers, Raiders again. So this schedule is not too crazy. And if we're looking at the question of whether or not Kansas City Chiefs can make it to the playoffs based on this schedule, I would say unless something crazy happens to Patrick Mahomes or something crazy happens to Travis Kelce, you're going to probably see this team in the postseason. And that's the reality of it. Let me hop into this chat with you guys. Serious and Saha, one summer I have both done at the same time. Never again. Feel better soon. Meniscus. Oh, no. Shout out to you. I hope you get better. And try to stay off of it. Robert in the house. What up, Robert? Shout out to you, bro. Says, hey, Jay, it's been a while, but I'm still alive and well. I can't wait for another cursed New York Jets season. In reality, I think they should do better this year. Chiefs are the team to beat again. Yeah, I think the reality is when you look at everything, not only that the Chiefs have to offer, but Andy Reid and his ability to game plan is top notch. He's in, his own tier when it comes to coaching. And he's been able to not only take this team to multiple Super Bowls and win, but he's been able to get through some of the most significant games where you just thought that they weren't going to make it or that they were going to lose. And, Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback that understands what it takes to win. He has a championship mentality when it matters the most. And so, when you talk about getting down to the wire in the postseason and championships and Super Bowl, how are you going to beat him? Because I don't think it's really a question of, are we going to see them in the postseason? I think it's who's going to have the best opportunity and be able to beat this team when it matters the most in the postseason. because, like I said, we went through the schedule. From what I can see, I definitely think they're going to be there. But the biggest issue that most teams are going to have that they probably should be planning for starting week 1 is if we can get to the postseason, and certain teams know where they're at. We know who's going to be there. And based on everything that we see from week 1 through week 18, how are we going to apply the proper strategies and get through what we need to while building up that momentum, building up that dominance, and creating a team around that can actually go out there and get the job done? You have so many teams that have the opportunity to do it. Obviously, you've got the Ravens. Obviously, you've got the Bengals. I mean, the Bills, another one, right? So Texans, another one. The Browns. These are teams that if they can get it together, if they can click, and if they could make the chemistry work and really put a solid game plan together, then yeah, they can give Kansas City a run for the money. But the issue is we haven't seen that. We've seen some good, solid games in the regular season, but then when it came to the postseason and the championship, people just crumble. And that's where we are. Because I'll be honest with you, if you just look at how last season went, and even 2022, the Chiefs never had it easy. They found a way to win. You can't go back in those schedules and say, "Oh, well, they had it easy. That's why they won." I mean, let's go back to last year. They started off with a loss against the Lions. They won against the Jags. They won against the Bears. The Jets, 23-20. They won against the Vikings, 27-20. Denver, 19-18. Chargers, 31-17. They lost to Denver 24-9. They won against Miami 21-14. They took a loss to the Eagles 21-17. They won against the Raiders 31-17. Lost to Green Bay 27-19. Lost to the Bills 20-17. Won against New England 27-17. Lost to the Raiders. Won against the Bengals, and then won against the Chargers in a 1-point game. And then getting into the postseason, obviously had the win against Miami 16-17, won against the Bills by 3 points, and they ended up beating Baltimore 17-10 in what we would consider probably one of the worst games that we've seen Lamar Jackson play, and he dropped the ball. And then obviously Super Bowl, you beat the 49ers 25-22, 3-point game. So once again, you can't say that they had it easy last year. They found a way to win. And even the year before that, regular season, right? They beat Arizona 44-21. They beat the Chargers 27-24. They lost to the Colts 20-17. They beat Tampa Bay 41-31, had a 1-point victory against the Raiders 30-29. They lost to the Bills 24-20, won against the 49ers 44-33 or 23. They won in OT against the Titans 20-17, won against the Jags, beat the Chargers by 3 points. Beat the Rams, lost to the Bengals 27-24. Beat Denver, beat Houston in OT. Seahawks, Denver again, and then of course the Raiders. And then getting into the postseason, you've got the win against the Jags, and then the win against the Bengals, and then obviously the Super Bowl with the Eagles. So, are you game planning and understanding who this team is and what they're capable of? And are you making sure that you have the best personnel in the right position when it comes to getting the job done when you're playing this team? And I think that's what's going to be one of the biggest problems that a lot of defenses are going to have coming into this season, because yes, Xavier Worthy is a rookie, but that speed that Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to utilize because he can get that ball down the field. Well, guess what? You lock up Xavier Worthy. Well, he's going to go to Marquise Brown, who's going to get down the damn field. All right, fine. You locked up both. Well, I'm just going to go to Travis Kelce. I'm going to go back to my well. You lock all three up. All right, we're going to work you then. We're just going to hand it off to Pacheco. You get Pacheco. Well, I'm just going to take off from under myself. There's so many different ways and schemes that Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team can win. And if you're not properly game planning, if you're not creating the right kind of defense with the identity that's going to be dominant against this championship team, well, guess what? We're going to see these Kansas City Chiefs right back in the Super Bowl at this next season. So there you go. There you go. Shout out to Official Duke, says my Bengals will come back this year. We'll see, man. We'll see. Shout out to James Walker. What up, yo? What's going on with you? Sirius says that's a relatively easy schedule. I don't think so. If you remember, we've been having this conversation as far as, the ability of each team coming into the season, and even halfway through the season, you don't really know who's dominant, right? We've been saying that over the last 2-3 years during these streams. Well, a team will go on a little run and everyone thinks they're doing amazing, and then they'll get smacked by a random team. So there hasn't been a truly dominant team. And even with the Chiefs, they weren't dominant. They had a bunch of close wins, and they found a way to win those games and then obviously get to the ultimate game of a Super Bowl. But they weren't truly dominant last year, just like with the Eagles. Everyone thought they were just going to do so much last year. They had a great start, ran out of gas like I said they would, but because they weren't dominant. I remember they won the game against the Commanders, and I was sitting there shaking my head because it was the Commanders. There's no way that if this team was so good and so dominant and everything was working for the Eagles, that they would have even came close to losing to the Commanders. So the reason why I say that is because the schedules aren't easy based on just looking at the team anymore. The schedules are challenging because everything obviously has changed, not only from a point of free agents and picking up rookies and things like that, but you have quality everywhere. You can look at every team and find either a star quarterback, star running back, star wide receiver. And if you have a coach who knows anything of what the hell they're doing, they can figure out how to utilize these individuals to make the plays that they need to keep them in it. So you can have a situation where the Chargers are down and then Justin Herbert ends up coming back strong. You can have a situation where Atlanta's down, they come back and can win a game. You will have a situation where the Raiders will play some strong defense and surprise everybody and get a victory. Even Denver, dare I say. But that's what makes it so amazing. That's what makes it such a great league, because right now I do think it's very open. It is for the taking, but are you putting in the work to get it done? Do you have the mentality to go out there and win? And I think we're going to hopefully see that next season from some other teams. But for right now, I got to give the Chiefs a round of applause. So there you go. There you go. Sirius says, so what are you on now? Year 4? Jeez. Yeah, year 4, man. We're on, well, technically it's year 5. Year 4 where we started taking this serious. But yeah, this would technically be year 5, but we'll just call it year 4. No, it's been, absolutely amazing. It's been absolutely wonderful. I love streaming these games with you guys. We always have a good time. For my Madden players out there, I will be giving away copies of Madden 25. I've been on the Madden tip lately. I'm back. I'm excited to play it. Excited to play it with you guys. I'll be streaming it live. We can all have a good time with that. And I'll be giving away 2 copies of Madden 25. So make sure you guys lock it in. Make sure you subscribe. All that good fun stuff. And yeah, we'll get that going. Get some Madden going soon with you guys. While we wait for the season to come. So yeah, it's gonna be great. Says a lot of money goes in the refs' pockets. Come on now, Lutu. You know how that goes. Robert says, Jay, to the words of my mouth, the Chiefs were not dominant in the regular season. UT found a way to win some close games. Then in the playoffs, they take off and know how to win. Yeah, and I mean, that's the defining factor that sets the Chiefs apart from everyone else. And that's also what sets Patrick Mahomes apart from everyone else, because he understands what it takes to win. And it's the same trait that Tom Brady had. It's the same trait that John Elway had. It's the same trait that Steve Young had. It's the same trait that Joe Montana had. And these are quarterbacks who found it. You've got a lot of quarterbacks in the league now that are talented. They're superstars. They do amazing things on the field, but they don't have it, or they haven't learned how to get it yet. And so Patrick Mahomes came right into the league and he had it. And I think that's where a lot of other teams are having the issues that they're having, because the level that he's playing at is way ahead of where some of these guys expect him to be. And that's the reality of it. We'll have to see, obviously, how this season goes. You guys know how we do. We do our power rankings every week of the season. So, we will see some significant moments. We'll see some crazy stuff going on, and we'll, chop it up, and we'll give credit where credit is due, and then we'll critique how we always do. But for right now, going into next season, I think the Chiefs fans have something to be excited for. I think they have, a team that they can believe in. I think they have a team that they can, be proud of. And that's because they put in the work and they've made it happen. They got the hardware to show it. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Shout out to Gate Smashes. Says, keep the bacon frying. Keep it frying. Yeah, man. Shout out to you, Sirius. Yeah, bro. 5 years. 5 years. It's been crazy. I remember the first game I streamed. None of you were around for it, but it was back in 2018. This is before I even knew what the hell I was doing. But I streamed the Super Bowl with video. Yeah, it was nuts. I streamed the Super Bowl with video, and I think there was like 50, 60,000 people in here at one point. It jumped up to like 80, and then it went down to 50. It was like 50,000 consistently. The chat was insane. But I streamed the video, and what was so interesting is they had let it go for almost 4 quarters. They didn't shut it down. They didn't shut down the stream until like, I think it was like 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, and I got like a strike and all that stuff. But it was at that moment where I was like, yo, like, I want to do this, but how do I do it? And then fast forward to 21 or to 20. That's when I really dug into it and started rocking with you guys. It's funny how things work out. Official Duke says, you ain't say nothing about the Texans. I did. We talked about the Texans. I dropped the Texans video 6 days ago. Yeah, we went live and we dropped the video 6 days ago. Now it says Bears by 7 next Thursday. Let's see. Listen, I'm excited for preseason. Y'all know we get into preseason heavy, and it's always a good time for sure. So I'm definitely excited for preseason. Here's a question: have any of you seen? The Joe Burrow haircut? Somebody tell me what is this man doing, yo? Hold on. We gotta get the picture up here for y'all. What is this? Somebody tell me. Is that gonna work? That's gonna work. Here we go. What is this? Does anybody know? Listen, I always thought of Joe Burrow as being a legit cool individual. You know, he had a little swag. But what is this? What's with the Slim Shady look? Did he listen to the album now with Slim Burrow? Is he Shout out to Immortal, says Albino Joe. Yo, I'm gonna use that. You know, it's crazy. Look at this. What is going on here? Like, why? You know, and I actually posted a picture of Alan too, and Alan, you know, he had on some shades and a chain now. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Because at the end of the day, you know, I think I resonate with a lot of you when I say this. I'm from a time where quarterbacks had their own identity, right? The guy from the farm was, you know, on the farm. He had his family. He had some horses and stuff. And then he went out on the field and he balled out. And the dude from the city, he was from the city, you know, and he did what he did. And then everybody had their own identity. Everybody had their own identity. And it's crazy because I'm looking at it now and I'm just like, why is everybody like want to be in this trend? Can we bring identities back? Like, why is Kirk Cousins wearing 8 chains? Like, what are you doing? It's a whole nother topic. But, you know, it just really, it makes me think. It's like, what happened? What happened? Father Time said, do you really want to follow on steps of Slim Shady? Right? You know, I'm going to leave that one alone because I can go into just a way deeper path. I don't want to. But it's literally just the reality of we're used to seeing that. We're used to, you know, each player that we've known to grow and love have their own identity, right? Randy Moss, we knew where he came from and why he talked that way and why he act that way. Tom Brady, we understand why he is and why he acts this way. I can't tell you why this happened. I don't know why this happened. I can't tell you why he chose to do this. I don't know what he's going for. I don't know Joe Burrow's identity anymore. When he came in, he was cool Joe, smoking Joe Shiesty. This is giving me you don't know the name of my band. This is giving me, you know, 98 vibes. And I don't know what to say about it. I don't know what to expect. Maybe it's, you know, him just trying something different. Maybe he's going through a phase. Remember when Britney Spears cut off all her hair? Maybe Joe Burrow is going through that phase right now. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to go blonde with it. And I'm going to go Cisco. That's what I'm doing. This season, I'm going Cisco. We're going to go through with the super blonde. And I don't get it. I really don't. And then, you know, this one as well. This is killing me. I don't understand why this is happening. Like I said, you know, I'm from the era where players and superstars had their own identity, right? And then, you know, I look at I seen this guy. I don't understand what the hell is going on. Why? Why does Josh Allen have these glasses? I've never seen him wear these glasses until this year. And this chain, I've never seen him wear a chain until this year. He's 7 years in. I've never seen this before. Explain it to me. And don't you guys know I love the guy, rock with the guy, but what the hell is this? What's on his nose? What is going on, y'all? That's what I need to know. What is going on with these athletes? Like we're gonna put them next to each other. Do these look like two Hall of Fame quarterbacks to you? Let me know. Drop it in the comments. Drop it in the chat. Is fire. So is that the work of Haley? Haley got him dressing like that. Yo. You tell me, when you look at these two quarterbacks, do they look at two Hall of Fame quarterbacks? That's an honest question. It's an honest question. But no, all jokes aside, like I said, I'm very used to, players with their own identity. And unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of these guys just fit in a certain trend. I don't know. Maybe I'm old school. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's our stream for the night. Maybe we'll figure it out one day. Shout out to Robert, says he had some money to burn last year and he got some bling. So listen. Josh Allen came from the farm. He came from the farm life. Right? Now, I'm not saying that's got to be his swag, but I'm used to seeing Josh Allen dress a certain way. I'm not used to seeing him with a chain on. Because if we seen Allen with a chain on back in 2018, then I wouldn't be having this conversation. 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. You get the point. It's just different. But hey, shout out to you, Luther. Old school for life? Yeah, y'all know I'm old school. I can't get used to the new stuff. That's all. We got to move forward, everybody. We got to move forward. We have to accept change. All right, I got to get up out of here before I start cutting up. I got to grab some food. Shout out to the Wrench Gang. Shout out to the family, all the listeners, all the watchers. I do appreciate each and every one of you. You all have yourself a great evening, and we'll chop it up. We'll chop it up probably tomorrow. Official Duke says, "Who's your NFL team?" Bills Mafia, my friend. The Bills of Buffalo. All right, y'all. Have a good night.